Hey everybody, it's time for a general update, and this would be general update number 8. In the past I have just done those sort of when I feel like I need to, but what I want to do now is sort of move on to after I buy, say, 5 pieces, I'll go back and sort of give you a second opinion, just go over those 5 pieces again, and generally talk about anything else that might have come up between now and the last update. So these are the last, or the most recent 5 pieces I've bought. There have been 5 pieces purchased after these, and that will be general update number 9. I do have another review to do before I can do that update. But yeah, these are pieces that I bought several weeks ago, if not months ago, and we have a lot to talk about. So please stick around, and we'll have some fun with this. I'll try to keep it short. Okay, let's get some of these out of the way. This is the Machinery 3-level mechanical slider by Wow Studio. I purchased it from Tiger H EDC store, and it has an issue, I'm afraid to say. After I posted the video on this, 2 of my viewers purchased these, and eventually they had a problem with one of their springs breaking. And I said, "Oh, that's terrible. I hope that Tiger H EDC will replace those or fix it." And I don't know how that turned out, but it turns out now that one of my springs broke. So I had to. Let's talk about what spring I'm talking about here. Here's a good image of the internals. It's the PEI version, so you can see through it. And I do love this slider, I really do. It's got a unique feel to it. Unfortunately, the springs are kind of custom. They're not standard. They're not off-the-shelf items, and I don't think that they were tempered quite correctly when they were made. They're a little too brittle. Here, up at the top here, you'll see my 2 springs. You actually get 4 springs with this thing, but these are the 2 softer springs. I preferred the softer springs. The harder springs for this, it comes with 2 harder springs, but they're actually almost too hard to be appropriate. There's something, it seems like a bit of a mistake there. They're really, really, really hard and resistive springs. And I think they're too strong for this. So these are my soft springs, and unfortunately one of them broke on me, and I didn't realize it right away until I noticed that there was a lot of slop in one direction than the other, and then I shook it and I could hear something rattling on the inside. So I do have a request out to Tiger H EDC store on AliExpress to buy replacement springs. So we'll see how that goes, and I will definitely be keeping you updated. Watch for update number 9 within the next week or so, because I do have, like I said, 5 more pieces to cover, and I'll let you know how that goes. But in the meantime, what I did is I took those harder springs, and this is a whole topic for another video. We'll see how things go with Tiger H EDC replacing my springs, but I took my own advice, the advice that I gave to at least one of the viewers. Since the only options you have left are the 2 really, really hard springs, what I did was I held them over a flame just until they got a little bit red, and then I did not quench them. Don't dunk them into water or oil or anything. Just set them on I set them on the actual inside part of this metal lid here, the stainless steel surface on the inside, and I just let it cool on that for a minute or 2. And what that does is it softens the spring. It's called annealing, and it takes out the heat treatment that's in the spring and softens it up. In other words, it basically ruins the spring. But I was able to use those, even though they're softened now, those hardened springs, I was able to bend them down and make them a little less difficult. And now they're usable as replacements, and hopefully these will hold up for a while. But I do want to buy replacements, soft springs, and not rely on what I did, and not rely on people having to do what I did. But like I said, that's a whole video. we'll move on to the next thing. Actually, before we move on to the next thing, let's quickly cover pricing. When I bought this, it was a while ago now, like I said, at least a few months maybe, it was $83, and now it's down to $75. That was a Tiger HEDC. You can find this now on INS Work store, significantly more priced, but stock is also about the same. I think, these guys are all sort of salesmen in the middle, and they get them from the same source. And it looks like there's only a few of these left in the different materials, like stainless steel, stainless steel, zirconium, and then they had a colored zirconium one, and then a titanium one, I believe. There might only be like one of each left. All right, now we can move on to the next one. The next one would be the Rich Candy V2 by Gal Studio. This one came from LXEDC store on AliExpress. I paid $48 for it. It's still going for $48 at the same store. I still like this one very much. The trick with this one is how to take it apart, and I'm not going to get into that, but it does involve using a thin metal object, sliding it down into the middle groove here. Pretty complex to describe, so watch my video. I will be linking to each one of these in the comments, so you can go watch my full video review where I disassemble it and everything. We're not going to disassemble anything or measure anything or weigh anything, but we'll talk about everything. So yeah, it's the Rich Candy V2. It's only stainless steel. Gal Studio made them. These are still in stock. Still at $48. The price hasn't gone down. You can shop around. Always shop around, because I could be totally wrong. You'll find it for much less somewhere else. Price differences are often pretty dramatic. But yeah, I like this one a lot. I'm surprised they didn't offer it in different materials. I'd be surprised if they don't offer it in different materials. Very nice, very nice. Only downfall is that the middle part is sort of concealed. It's totally wrapped on the outside, so you can't really control it too much. On other sliders you can grip the outside and control how fast it comes down, but on this one I have it tuned to such a way that it works just fine for me. And that's the case with all of these wrapped designs, and that only concerns 3-level sliders. So this is a wrapped 3-level mechanical slider, and I like it. So let's move on to the next one. And the next one would be, of no particular name, the YFJG, because it's written here, or engraved here, titanium 3-level slider, mechanical, from Tiviva. Tiviva, I believe, is the seller, if not the designer or maker. I don't know if this is the name of the piece or the manufacturer of the piece, designer of the piece. This has got some random letters on the top, and I've looked at them all. I can't see any words sneaking in there anywhere. This one does have a nice little lanyard attachment at the back, which I'll show you in a second. Works really well with my lanyard clips. And this being titanium, I think it was a little bit sticky whenever I initially got it. I believe it had stainless steel balls and springs. There are 2 balls and 2 springs on either side, and I believe that it came with stainless steel balls in it. And I believe that I changed these. What you're hearing here is nice and soft. Those are 3mm POM plastic balls, which I got off of Amazon. I often like those when I want to quiet something down or make it softer or easier to use, and some of these titanium ones from Tiviva, it seems to really help a lot. But I think this was a pretty good bargain. Titanium, it was $44, price went up to $46 now for some reason, but that came from the Tiviva store on AliExpress. It is full titanium except for the screws and the springs and the balls. And let me grab my lanyard so I can show you what that looks like. These are what I call, I guess, slider clips, lanyard, little mini lanyard clips, and I don't sell them. I did make a video on how to make them. They're so easy to make. It's a matter of finding these clips that are just the right size, and they're easily found on I'm sure they're on AliExpress too. Amazon has them, and I bought an assortment. Some are black, some are sort of a silvery colored, and some are sort of a titanium-ish color, but that's black. And then you just get a nice bead. I usually like a thicker than normal bead, and then put a nice knot on the end, or don't put a nice knot on the end. You don't need to do it. Just get paracord, loop it, bring it through, tie off a knot, and melt it down, and you're good to go. So I like it. I really like it whenever a slider has a lanyard hole that works with this, because it's not quite big enough to put a paracord through there if you wanted to, 550 paracord. I suppose if you gutted it, let's take that out for better viewing purposes. If you gutted it, you could get one to go through. It might get in the way a little bit when this returns back, but that's not a lot of space to work with. So I'm really happy, like I said, when I get a slider that I can use this with, especially a little slider like this. It works so much better, I think, when you have it captured by your fingers, so you don't have to concentrate so much effort into how you're holding it and whether or not you're going to drop it onto the concrete or not. But yeah, this was a nice one. I like the PLM balls in that. I think make all the difference in the world. So let's move on to the next one, and that would be the pop-up, which is the only non-mechanical slider we have here. I suppose you could call it partially mechanical. It's more like a captured slider. It's captured, this piece up here is captured by two screws that ride up and down in those two grooves, and that kind of reacts as you bring it back. It vibrates a little bit. So I was kind of intrigued by it. It's loud. It's very, very loud. Talk about that more in my detailed review video about it. But and you see this Teflon tape is here that I put that there as an experiment. You can take the balls out of this. There's balls down here at the bottom that run this whole top. This whole part here runs on balls, and this part here runs on two little balls on the inside, or four little balls. And you can take all of the balls out and run it without any. And if you want to, you can put some Teflon in there. But I think it's probably better to just use it the way it was designed. It's not going to wear out as fast. And I think this is more of a shelf queen. I'm not going to be using this very much. I don't know if Sean did his review on this yet over on the Fidget Fix, but he talked to me after I got it and did the review, and one of my complaints was how loud it is, and he pointed out how simply it is to just, if you don't mind, sort of cup it in your hand, and you can make it pretty darn quiet. Now it's kind of rubbing against your hand. That might be sensitive for some people, but you can quiet it down. You can turn it this way too. It's a little bit harder to rearrange, I think, but yeah, might be interesting to some of you. I was curious, but I've been drifting away from anything magnetic and towards anything mechanical for a good while now. So I can't highly recommend this if you're into mechanical stuff. It's also not quite big enough. I'm sorry, this is not quite small enough for my lanyard clip to make it all the way around. However, it is just the right size for 550 paracord to go through. So if you want to make yourself, in fact, when I did the review for this, I had a little lanyard tied off on it temporarily. But yeah, this is stainless steel. And the good story about this was, in my video, you'll see I was disappointed. I tried to take this apart, and one of the screws broke in half. And I really thought, well, that shouldn't happen. And I bought it from G1, Geeone on AliExpress. And it pointed me to a graphic there that said, hey, don't try to take this apart. The screws are glued. And I didn't see that. And I argued my point successfully. I didn't have to argue really. I just said, hey, can I please get a replacement for this or something? And they kindly sent me this whole new top piece with 2 screws that were not glued to begin with. And so now I have what I thought I was going to get in the first place. So cheers to G1 for customer service, and yeah, if that's your thing. Did I say this is by JUZHEDC? The design is JUZHEDC, and it's the pop-up and in stainless steel. I think this is available in titanium and maybe zirconium, and there's still quantities of these available too. Yeah, there were these are still available as well. I didn't mention that, but I think we're ready now to move on to the last piece. Well, not quite yet, because I didn't mention the pricing. When I bought this from G01, it was $66, and it is still $66. So I recommend G01 though. That's good customer service. All right, let's move on to the final item, the strangely named and designed Demon King. I should say the childishly designed, let's say decorated. It's a good design. I'm trying to focus it here so you can see it clearly. It's a very good 3-level slider. I just don't like this childish advertising on it. And, you know, I complain about it, but it's really not that obvious. It's not that deep of an engraving, and it doesn't stand out that much, and you really have to look at it closely, at least I do, to even be able to read it. And then it looks like you've just got a decorative skull here. So it's nothing as goofy as the pig nose slider. It's hard to get anything goofier than the pig nose slider. But otherwise, I really like this one. And over here you'll see it was available in, it still is available in G10. This is stainless steel with a PEI insert. The green one is G10, and of course the all orangish looking one there, the yellowish looking one, is all PEI. And I was tempted to get a PEI one, but I'll have to be happy with this. This one came from 3 Eyes Fidget Toys store on AliExpress, and it was $60 when I bought it. Now they're going for $50, so a bit of a price drop there. I haven't been able to find this anywhere else. And speaking of this again, this goofy logo on it, I did ask the store if by chance the green G10 version didn't have this on it, because the picture of it they have, the one I'm showing you, I guess, or showed you, it's not very clear. The PEI one, you can see it's the PEI one has the same exact engraving, but they did respond to me and tell me that this is on all 3 different ones. So you'd have to be happy with that. Remember, this one only goes back a few clicks. It's actually 4 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I like that too. Again, this one is just the right size for my lanyard clip. Again, I don't think it's quite the right size for a full paracord. This is the other lanyard clip. Yeah, that helps. Always helps. And then I like to move it backwards. That's the extent that it goes backwards, but I'll go forward and backward, and then sometimes do a gentle pull back, and it feels kind of nice across your thumb there. Good sound. I think this just has the steel balls that came with it. I don't remember if there were alternatives, but I keep all my spare parts now, so I have so many different options to tune these things. And you do, with mechanicals, you really do need to tune them to get them how you really want them. Well, you know, I think that is about it for this update. Like I said, I have another review to do, and that will complete the next set of 5 pieces. And I will be doing update number 9, and then we'll be all caught up. And then to top all that off, well, you probably won't care. Hell, I don't care. I need to make shorts. What I've done in the past is I just wait until I accumulate 5 or 10 pieces, and then I go out in the woods by a stream somewhere pretty and quiet, preferably, and do 30-second shorts of each piece. And then I put those shorts out there. Otherwise, I could care less about shorts. So, yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and bye.